Oh, yeah, I know. We have a really fun lineup, so we're super excited.
Music, it's really cool live.
It's coming.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah, Fairways is gonna be there doing breakfast.
And a big thank you to Desert Financial Credit Union for sponsoring our Community Spotlight program right here on KRIM 96.3 FM. Good morning, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Yes, it's Tuesday, another beautiful day here in Rim Country. Hope you're enjoying your morning. And on our Community Spotlight this morning, program this morning, we are going to be talking about an event, something that everyone, I feel, loves in the Rim Country, and that is the Payson Farmers Market. Have John and Lorian Roethlein in the studio. Good morning, guys. How are you doing?
Hi, so happy to be here.
I know, it's that time of year again. It seems like, the farmer's market, it ends, and then before you know it, it's starting up again.
It feels like it this year. I mean,
Yeah.
all of a sudden I'm like, oh my gosh, it's starting.
Yeah, and every Memorial Day weekend, farmer's market, so that is great. Going into the 14th season, we were just
Yes.
talking about this before the program started.
Yeah.
14 years.
Yeah.
I know,
Yeah.
yeah.
Who would have thought it all those years ago? We just started it to see if it would work, and apparently it worked.
I remember, golly, so a little
Yeah.
flashback here. I remember, and I don't know how long both of you have been in town, but just talking, hearing, meeting, different places, plant fair or different
Mhm.
places, and hearing, hey, farmer's market. What about a farmer's market?
Right.
And, that first year where in the, what do you call it, by the McDonald's, in the Legacy, the home furniture parking lot.
No.
But the plans
Yeah,
and
yeah.
talking about it and like, oh, this where, and the things that happened, and then how it ended up at the church, and then
Yeah.
the next year in the Sawmill Theater
Yeah.
parking lot, and how wonderful that
Yes.
location has
Oh my
been
gosh, it's so
for the
perfect.
farmer's market. Yeah, so
It's funny how things work out.
Yeah.
Like when you try something and you're like, oh, this is going to be great, and then it doesn't work, and you're like, oh man. But then there's always these outcomes that are way better than what you were doing.
oh yeah.
And that's what's worked out here. We love our location.
Oh,
We
I
love
know.
our location, and Gordon Whiting is the most amazing landlord, so.
Oh, I know, he is great having the store in there for 9 years. Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing, and the other businesses in there.
Yeah.
You're the one who told us about it, but
I
we
know.
should talk to him.
That's
Oh my
that's
gosh.
That is
why
right,
I
yeah.
know the history, and that's where and when you were looking at locations, it's like where, and it's like, hey, Sawmill
Yeah.
would be great.
Yeah.
And and for that reason, knowing that Gordon, great guy, Craig with the
Mhm.
movie theater,
Mhm.
wonderful, and
Yeah.
so it's been great, and going into 14 years. So those that might be listening that are newer to
Yeah.
the area, can you give a little more history about the Payson Farmers Market?
Sure, yeah. So the Payson Farmers Market is a place where people bring their food that they made, they grew, they raised it.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you come there, everything you buy is from the people that made it,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it's all local Arizona, very hometown kind of operation, And so over the years, we've managed to attract more and more people from all over the state, bringing some of the best food Arizona has to offer. So we started really small
Mm-hmm.
with just what we can do here, and now we've expanded to include the award-winning tamales from Phoenix, or the amazing Arizona
Yes.
bread, or you name it. Just a whole long list of the best spice companies, or there's a long list. There's about 50. We have 50 spaces that we fill every week,
Mm-hmm.
and each one is a little independent business doing their passion and bringing it to us. So
Mhm.
we've really grown over the years. Right?
Mm-hmm.
It's every Saturday morning, just some of the basics. It's every Saturday morning starting Memorial Day weekend from 8 to noon in the
Mhm.
Sawmill parking lot, which is in front of the movie theater,
Mhm.
behind Chili's, in front of the movie theater.
Yep. And it is amazing, like you said, award-winning businesses with products. So the seasonings, you mentioned RA.
Yeah, RA seasonings.
RA
yeah.
seasonings.
Yeah.
Award-winning. I mean, the Phoenix Times are recognized in there and other awards. The salsa.
Big Red, well, salsa, but also, so Los Muertos salsa, Big Red's hot sauces. I mean, they're top vendors from Phoenix. But I mean, they started with this when Big Red started with this. They would rent a budget van and drive their stuff up here. That was like their second year in business, and now to this day, every time I see a budget van, I think of Tasia. You know, her and her husband started that business from nothing, and now he won some.
Well, Paul, the owner,
Yeah.
he is on Forbes' top entrepreneurs.
Oh,
Yeah.
In 10 years. And he
Yeah.
went to a big conference of hot sauce makers in New York
Yeah.
City. He was one of the keynote speakers. So, you know, they started just doing their thing in the parking lot here and a couple other places in Arizona. And now people flock to him to learn how to do what he's done. And I love it that people deliver these things to Payson.
Yeah.
Right to us.
Yeah.
You know, because sometimes it feels a little separate being 75 miles from anything. But to have all of these really interesting people bring these amazing foods to us.
Yeah.
Right? It's a real gift, actually.
Oh yeah.
To me it is, anyway.
And what's great is the interaction, because one of the things is it isn't just a farmer's market you go and buy things, but it's a community event.
Yeah.
And the interaction, because thinking about Paul, what I love is he's from Philadelphia, so being born and raised just outside of Philly and talking Sixers basketball with them and just having a great time visiting with them, it's so much fun.
Yeah.
It's so much fun. And all the vendors.
Yeah.
You know, find all the vendors are just so wonderful. And
I have a funny thing to interject here.
Yeah.
So Tamale Store, they actually thought about cutting back to part-time because they've opened a big restaurant.
So big,
They've got a store in the restaurant, that kind of thing, and that's been going for the last few years. But they're growing so much that when I saw Eddie at another market that we're at with our mushrooms, he said, I'm thinking about just every other week. And I went, oh my God, what do you mean? And he goes, I just don't know how I'm going to swing it. I can't get up there. And I go, well, go talk to your sisters and you guys trade off, do whatever it takes. And they had a staff meeting, and they all said, no, we love being in Payson. We will do whatever it takes to be there every week. You know, so it's them, and it's a family. You know, and they produce like thousands of tamales a day.
They can make about 50,000 tamales a day. They have like 50 employees making tamales as fast as they can. Right, and they have lots of priorities. Right? And there's 5 million people in Phoenix they can sell tamales to, but coming to Payson is really important to them. Just because they like coming here. That's one of the things I think most of the vendors that we meet that are professional businesses. They go to Flagstaff, or they go to 2 or 3 markets in Phoenix, or they go to Queen Creek or whatever, all these different places. They love coming here because they get a little bit of Payson on them, like that kind of community vibe where everybody's friendly and people are looking out for each other and laughing and smiling, you know, and they love, it's a special gift that Payson gives that not every community in Arizona does. I mean, if you spend a lot of time in the valley doing markets and stuff, you know, it's different.
It isn't the same vibe at all. No, that is cool. So, so you have these incredible vendors that are coming up with their award-winning products, and then you also combine local vendors. People. I know I was just talking with Jamie Peace and Boyd. Jamie and Boyd coming back to the market, and Boyd with his jams and jellies and
oh my gosh,
So
and his elderberry juice, which he grows and juices, and I mean it's just wonderful. And elderberry is amazing for your health. But
there's a ton of. I mean, so what's the percentage of local vendors? I mean, is it? It's 50%-ish, I'd say. Of
no,
people from
I
Payson.
wouldn't say 50%. So setup, I've got about 70 vendors that will rotate through because
Gotcha.
you know, like art is part time, and then we have some part time vendors. So on a given day, about a third
third,
of the
yeah.
vendors are local.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and you know, people say, well, why can't they all be local? It's like we've really made it a point to get vendors from the outside that we don't have here.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I mean, we don't have a hot sauce. We don't. You know, I think there is somebody that does tamales that sells on the side of the road,
Mhm.
but I don't know if they're even working in a commercial kitchen. They can't. You know, it's like we're a public venue, so
Yeah.
we follow very strict health department regulations.
Mhm.
And there's nobody in town that's doing tamales as an example that would be able to be at our market.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like the people that are coming up from the valley, I've focused on these are things that we can't or don't have in Payson. And so we want them because they bring a new spice of life on Saturdays to what we can't get
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, and it's also a case where some of the vendors, and for example with the tamale store, how were they? Maybe they came in the second market,
Yes,
the second
yeah.
season.
I think so,
So they came in the second season, the first year you were in Sawmill. So for 13,
Yeah.
going on 13
Yeah.
years, they've been a part of the Payson Farmers
Yes.
Market.
Yeah.
So I mean, they're like family. It's
They are.
like,
There would probably be a bit of a riot.
I
All of a sudden we're like,
know.
oh, tamale store's not going to be here. People would be like,
yeah,
choking us out. It'd be really
what are you
bad.
doing?
Yeah, yeah.
No.
Because yeah, it's a part of this community too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and so
And sometimes I do get calls from, well, you know, I'm local, I should have priority, and it's like, I'm sorry, but this small business has been with us for 13 years or
Yeah.
10 years
Yeah.
or 9 years or, you know, so I take loyalty really, it's an important value to me. So
yeah, and there might be an opportunity down the road,
Oh,
yeah.
or you know, if for whatever reason that business
Mhm.
isn't able to make it, or they
Mhm.
can't come up, or they tell you, oh, there's a conflict, you know, going into the next season. So there could be an opening there, and
Yeah.
that's just kind of how it is, and that's how really it works. Probably, you know, with other markets, ones that aren't, I guess, duplicating, because there's probably some markets out there that maybe
lot
don't,
of people.
you know, care as much
Oh,
as far as the vendors go, and they'll maybe duplicate or, you know, bring in different vendors that,
Yeah, I mean, if we had 100,000 people in our community, we could probably have a couple of bread
Yeah.
companies and everybody would still be okay. But when there's less than 20,000 people, you know, you kind
You
of
can't do
we have to
that.
manage that and kind
Yep.
of keep all the pieces scaled
yeah,
correctly for what we're doing.
And something to add to that, what I'm really excited about, we have a roster of 16, so our art, we are Rib Country artists only.
yes,
We don't bring other artists because we've got a lot of great artists
yeah.
here and we want to be able to highlight them. And we only have 4 stalls for art. So,
yes.
but I'm really excited because we've got 16 artists rotating this year,
Wow.
which is, you know, we've got some returning, obviously, we've got the new, so there'll
Yeah.
be something a little different every week. And
Yeah,
you know, and they're small little businesses, you
Mhm.
know, that's kind of, you know, I've been self-employed for over 35 years. I know I don't look that old, but it is. But, anyway,
started with the lemonade stand
Yeah.
at 10 years old, right?
Well, almost.
Yeah.
but,
yeah.
you know, when we first were open, you know, in
Yeah.
about the 3rd year when we'd lose a vendor or something because
Yeah.
they were getting too big, I was like devastated. But now I embrace it because it's like, you know, it's like we're starting with a young bird, and when it flies
Yeah.
because it's gotten
Yeah.
too big and they can't do markets anymore,
Mhm.
it's like, wow, we were part of their evolution.
Yeah.
So an example, maybe the PB Americana.
Yeah.
Yes,
Perfect.
yes, perfect example.
Yeah,
Yeah.
suddenly they're on Shark Tank and they're going and doing all that, and they started,
Yeah.
and then they just got too big. Now they're in grocery stores. Now they're in
Yeah.
everything else. They don't
Yes.
really do markets.
Yeah.
You know?
But-
So, which means there's an opening for a nut butter person.
I know, we need nut
But that's a
butters.
perfect example. One
Ooh, yeah.
business leaves, and then it creates an opportunity for someone.
Yeah.
And I've always thought, rather than replicate what somebody else is doing, do your own thing. Be
Mhm.
the one doing that. So
Yeah.
now that they're gone, there was opportunity for nut butter or other things. So a lot. Yeah.
Well, and that's is that kind of what went into Arizona Mushroom Company, and kind of how you came up with that, because no
Yeah.
one's really doing
Right.
Yeah,
that,
it turns
right?
out in the state of Arizona, there's only about 3 mushroom farms, maybe 4, that are commercially growing mushrooms.
And you are one of them.
Yeah, now I'm
right
one
here.
of them. Yeah. So.
And there's a real demand. I mean,
my
your
gosh.
mushrooms. I mean, every Saturday they sell out.
We're growing. So we also have a mushroom company, Arizona Mushroom Company, and it's our 3rd year, and we now are starting to grow 125 pounds of mushrooms a week.
Ooh.
A week.
Yeah.
And we sell them. And we
mushrooms
sell
are like
them all.
feathers,
Mushrooms
right?
are light.
Yeah,
I
they
know.
fill this room. We're in the
my
process
gosh.
of building a walk-in cooler, right?
Yeah.
But and we sell them all.
Yeah.
Their demand is so high. Between Payson and in the summer, we go to Flagstaff.
And then in the winter, we are at Old Town Scottsdale.
So we've been at Old Town Scottsdale all winter long, which is where we've met a lot of our new vendors that are going to come up this summer, right? That have never been to Payson. They've never, we've never had access to. When was the last time you had a smoked ahi dip? Right? Smoked meat dips, right?
Yeah.
And they're delicious, and you just get them in tubs and you can spread them on stuff. I mean, nobody's done anything like that here, but it's fantastic. Right, as one example.
Oh, and then another example is the most. I know how to make quiche. I will never make another quiche.
No joke.
This quiche is
It's unbelievable.
I don't even know how to say their company name, but
I only know the guy.
I know, we know
what's
the
the name
guy.
of the company?
Here it is.
Oh,
But
Nouveau Quiche.
Nouveau.
Yeah.
So Nouveau quiche.
Yeah, I mean, the tamale store.
So creamy.
In Scottsdale, they're sitting right next to the tamale store, and you know how long the lines are here?
Yeah.
The lines are that long for quiche.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Wow.
Yeah, and you can get it by the slice and eat it, sit in the shade in our seating area and have it for breakfast, or they sell big ones that
Take
you
it
can
home frozen and
take home. And
And he's from Tucson. His name's Armand. He's super cool. He hired a local person here to do it.
Nice.
So now they have a job coming to the market and doing that. Right? Yeah. So again, some of the best food. Most people that eat this quiche, they're like, I had no idea.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Wow.
They're like us, never making another one again. When I can get these. They're just something about them. I think they're so creamy.
Yeah. So one of the new vendors, and what are some of the other new vendors?
So the other ones. So last year we had the dog treats that were
antlers.
That were antlers. He's not able to come back.
Sounds like.
He's not able to come back this year. So we have chews for paws.
Gotcha.
And they'll have like beef jerky type of things and ears and all kinds of great
things dogs love to chew on.
dog chew type of stuff. One of the vendors that we met at Old Town as well, and Old Town's not open in the summer, so we didn't steal from them.
Yeah.
But Eli's French Bakery, John would go. I mean, we were going there to sell mushrooms every week, and he would be excited about, okay, what pastry am I going to eat today?
Yeah.
And that was way more important to him than
like
mushrooms.
on Wednesday, I start thinking about what I'm going to eat on Saturday.
And it's all fresh. It's got Neapolitans and couple different Danish tarts and stuff like that.
It reminds me, or makes me think of like a European bakery.
Yeah, with amazing macaroons. That's his main thing is these really good macaroons.
Macaroons.
His name's Eli. Super nice.
Yeah, really nice guy.
Nice.
So he'll be with us. I'm really excited. We have a new farmer, and she's from Payson. He and she. Farmer Brook Organics. That's Ann and Brooke. They are. They're doing different lettuces and stuff like that, and they're new to relatively new to Payson.
Nice.
They're working out of about 800 square feet, and they'll be doing some veggies, but mostly lettuces. So
once
that's really great.
all these things, it's a double-edged sword. Once you get really good food,
Yeah.
and the lettuce is an example, it's hard to eat the other stuff.
I know,
It's hard to go back because it's fresh. It lasts a long time in your refrigerator. It's more dense. It tastes better.
Tomatoes.
Yeah, tomatoes, like all those things.
Yeah.
Once you do it, it's a little hard to go back to the other ones.
And have to comment, people watching on our KRIM FM Facebook page, Dave Smith comments, I love the market, so excited for it to start again.
Thanks, Dave.
Then Dave saying, ooh, French bakery.
Yeah.
So Sharon Granis, can't wait for it to start. So yeah, I know a lot of people excited.
Yes,
Yeah, no,
it's real. I
people-
love it.
So, you know, the last 2 years we've won best event in Rim Country,
That's right.
right?
That's
And so
what-
that's like beating out the rodeo and 4th of July, fireworks and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I've always thought that what's happened with the farmers market here
Yeah.
is we might be the founders and we might run it, but the community thinks it's theirs,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's
And
their
rightfully
thing.
so.
And yeah, rightfully so, because it is, right? And there's kind of a sense that we're all in it together. We all share the pride in it.
Yeah.
We like coming and doing it and seeing our friends and just participating in it like it's your own.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's one of the real unforeseen consequences that's been awesome,
Yeah.
right? And so then when people come that are visitors,
Yeah.
they step into that. And they're, you know, sometimes maybe you forget, especially if you're commuting in your car from Goodyear to
Mm-hmm.
whatever every day, and you kind of forget what it's like to be in a really cool community where
Mhm.
everybody's like happy.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And then the vendors, especially the ones that stay and continue to do it,
Yeah.
they embrace that.
Yes.
They embrace
Yeah.
that, and then they just spread that same
Yes.
feeling,
Yes.
and it's really cool to see.
Well, one of the reasons we have so many new vendors is because current vendors go
Mhm.
to wherever their next farmer's market is, and
Yeah.
then they talk about being in Payson.
Yes.
And then their neighbor vendors, like Eli, the macaroon guy, hear about it,
Yeah.
and then they come to us and go, hey man, I heard Payson is really great.
Yeah.
And we're like, yes, it is.
Yeah.
Right, so come on up. And then, so people are super excited. So,
That is, I don't,
Yeah,
I
we
don't
don't recruit.
actively recruit anymore at all.
Mhm.
It's our existing vendors that would, you know, you've got a market that's coming to an end. It's like, oh, what are you doing for the summer? I don't have a location for the summer. And
And they're like,
and,
hey,
and
we're
our
on the
vendors
Payson.
talk about,
Yeah.
they treat us well. They love, you know, and we love our vendors. I mean, it's like we take care of them, and they, you know, I mean, I'm a hugger. You know,
Yeah.
we see somebody, and it's like, oh, we haven't seen you all year, you know, and you
Yeah.
know, and they just they
Yeah.
feel that humanness,
mhm.
and then they tell their friend Eli, the bakery guy, you know, oh, you gotta go there. It'll
Yeah.
be the highlight of your year.
Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
so we love it.
Yeah.
And let me see, Sharon says, yes, my Valley family has been asking when it starts again.
Right.
So
I
that's
know.
another thing, you know, family
Yes.
members and people that have homes up here.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
they probably plan, you know, the weekend around that, saying,
Yeah.
okay, we want to make sure we hit the farmer's market before we go to our cabin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I've got a funny story on that one. So we're at Old Town Scottsdale in the winter, and we
Yeah.
have a couple that comes every single week for mushrooms.
Yeah.
Her mother is our mail person.
Yeah, I know. We started talking. She goes, "Oh, my mom was in Payson." It's like, "Oh yeah,
What does she do?
Oh, she works for the post office.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, what's her name? Oh, does she have long blonde hair?
And she
Yeah.
said, Jennifer. I'm like, does she have long blonde hair? She goes, yeah, that's my mom. And I was like, oh my god.
I know, super small. Arizona
Yeah.
actually is quite small. Once you
Yeah.
get like the way we get out and about and see people in all the different
Yeah.
communities, it turns out that the connections are generally very
Mm.
close.
Oh,
Hey, so who are
again.
some of our other new vendors, Wayne?
Okay, so the quiche. Oh, so Rock Top Coffee. He's
yeah.
local. So Alfonso,
Mhm.
he bought that coffee business. So it's pretty interesting. Tom Peltz has been
Platz.
doing the Platz. I always say his name wrong. He has been doing the roasting here in Payson. And Alfonso's family owns they
coffee
grow
farm.
the beans in Colombia, right?
Mhm.
So that's a family farm. Alfonso's local. He's bought the roasting side of the business from Tom, so they'll be bringing the green beans here, doing all the roasting
Yeah.
and that type of stuff here. And
I
know, it's
he
cool,
is
right?
just a delightful.
I mean, I think it's
guy.
pretty cool that,
Yeah.
that we're gonna have a direct connection to a Colombian coffee farm.
Yeah.
That they're
It's like, oh my
coming,
God.
and a family business, right?
Mhm.
And those beans are coming up here, getting roasted here, and we will kind of be the people getting it. We're the beneficiaries
Mhm.
of this whole thing, right? Because they're not a big professional coffee farm
Yeah,
doing whatever. This is a pretty.
Yeah.
I just
I
think
mean,
it's
his
cool.
mom and
operation.
sisters and brothers and
Yeah.
uncles are there
Yeah,
picking the beans.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I'm super
Yeah.
excited.
Bruzy Vineyards, I'm really excited. He's going to be with us. He'll come up and set up wine tasting. You'll be able to buy bottles of wine and stuff like that as well.
Mhm.
He'll be with us 3 times,
So-
and we'll have we have to kind of chain off and
Yeah,
it's
Yeah,
all
we're making
part
a
of
little,
it.
we're making a little,
But he'll have his areas. Excited
whatever we're
about
calling
him.
that.
Mhm.
And they're from Young, and they're a vineyard
Yeah.
from Young, and they're super great. His wine's
Oh, yeah.
wonderful. And I think it's cool. I mean, he's done the work it takes to get all the licensing and everything to be able to set up a
Mhm.
place to drink wine on
And
the
a lot of
market.
A lot of
Right.
people know Patty the masseuse. Unfortunately, she's not able to return this year. She's working full time and not able to do that. But Victoria and Rudy from Rim Country Wellness Massage they'll be there every other week and alternating with Missy Breeze. She's going to be, like I said, alternating with them, and she does grace-filled healing. So she does like vitamin injections and that sort of thing. So
Mhm.
they're both there. They're new, and
So is that the same thing as like a hydration bar and
I
stuff
think
like that? Like
so.
when you
I
travel around, like you'll
Yeah.
see an IV bar or whatever, you can go and
Missy
get
does that.
hydrated.
Yes.
You can
Yeah.
you can get vitamin B shots and all that kind of stuff. So and she's a
Yeah.
nurse in real life.
She's a registered
then-
nurse, and then she's this is her new career. She's
Yeah.
and she's already been doing that, and she does remote work, so
Yeah.
she'll come to your house or whatever.
So it's something a little
or
different, but I'm really excited for it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And Bruzy, another example of award-winning
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
product
Yeah.
wines.
Yeah.
Wines have won awards.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, again, just the level of the products,
Mhm.
the
Yeah.
food and
Yeah.
the drinks. It's great.
And then another addition is Fairways Restaurants. So
Oh, yeah.
Chef Bradley, he is returning. I think he's a longtime Paysonite, left for a number of years, and is now the head chef there. He'll be serving both breakfast and lunch.
Mhm.
From what I understand, he's going to be making his grandma's French toast. It's like
Mm,
it's a
amazing.
creme brulee French toast.
Yes.
So creme brulee's on the bottom, then they put the toast in, then they bake it, and then they cut it in squares and flip it over, and creme brulee French toast, like, oh my
I
god.
love French toast.
Yeah.
I love creme brulee.
Yeah.
We're gonna stick those two things together. I'm like, yeah.
That's
And,
funny.
and I'll go get some coffee from Alfonso. Dude, like seriously. I'm
And
so
your
excited.
macaroons.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right? Yeah.
Uh,
I haven't realized I haven't lost enough weight yet.
I
need
know.
to cut some weight so I can add it back on this summer.
I know. So much. So many vendors, great vendors.
Yeah.
So much delicious food. What's great also is it is a prepared. You can eat
Yeah.
it while you're there, or a lot of the vendors offer the take home as well.
Yeah.
Oh yes, yeah, definitely. And that, you know what? And that came from customers.
Yeah.
I had so many customers say, "We want more food," and I'm like, I don't understand what you're saying. We're a farmers market. What do you mean when you want more food? No, food that we can eat on Wednesday night when
Yeah.
the kids are in sports and we don't have time to cook.
Yeah.
And so we've got multiple vendors that you can get Ramondo's, meatballs and go sit in the shade and eat them, or you can get a bigger pack of them and take them home and warm up. And
Mhm.
so there's multiple vendors that do that.
And I
Yeah.
know it isn't weird to me anymore, but initially the thought the Indian food.
Yeah.
Oh,
Having
yeah.
Indian food for breakfast.
Yeah.
This is a little odd, but then it is so good
Yeah.
that I find myself alternating between Italian breakfast,
Right.
Yeah.
Mondos, Indian,
Yeah.
some curry, some
Yeah.
chickpeas,
Go get some Middle Eastern
yeah,
food. from
Falafel,
Falafel.
Middle Eastern, yeah.
and the Middle Eastern food, tamales. I mean, it's crazy.
And now we've
It's-
added the quiche
And the
and,
quiche.
Yeah.
Fairways.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Fairways,
I
I don't think is going to pack. I think they're just serving the hot.
Hot.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
hot food. But yeah, another thing we've done differently this year, we were alternating music and kids events. So we are going to have music every day, and then they'll take a break. They'll take a 20-minute break so
do
we
the
can
kids
pop
event.
the kids events.
Yeah.
in there.
Nice.
And
Yeah.
the music is sponsored by.
The music is sponsored by Quality Movers, and they
Nice.
have been doing that for years and years.
Yeah.
So we're
Yeah.
just absolutely excited that
Oh,
they
yeah.
Yeah,
wanted to
because
do
with
that
the
again.
sponsorship, then we could actually afford to have musicians
Yeah.
every week
Yeah.
and pay them,
Yes.
Yep.
right?
And then
Yeah.
all of the kids' games also sponsored by different businesses
Yes.
Yes.
and organizations. And
Yeah.
we do the rock, paper, scissors,
I know
which
it.
is fun.
Yeah.
And,
I had to play rock, paper, scissors the other day for some big decision with
Oh,
another
really?
adult that I didn't even know, and we kind of, like you go to the grocery store and there's only one thing on
Yeah,
the shelf and you
yeah.
both reach for it,
Yeah.
then you have to play rock, paper, scissors to see who gets
Did you
it.
get it?
No, I've lost every time recently.
That's,
He's on a
Well,
losing streak there.
It seems like
On
I
a
get on
losing
streaks
streak.
as well, where I can be like on fire, and I feel like, oh, I'm invincible, and then I lose to everyone. Like
One of my favorite moments is you playing rock, paper, scissors against that like 14-year-old girl for rodeo tickets.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, where she bet it all
Yeah.
and then beat you. It was so good.
There's
it was so
and
good.
I was just looking on one of the pictures, Dan Basinski too.
Oh,
Dan
yeah.
Basinski, Mr. Spoon Man,
Yeah.
when he was here, and yeah, he was a little bit of a trash talker, so we had some
Yeah, no, some good stuff.
Dan,
Yeah, so
yeah,
we'll be doing
was
that,
good.
and we're gonna eat watermelons and
Cantaloupe bowling.
cantaloupe bowling and
Oh,
are we
the
doing chicken
face
flicking?
the cookie where you
Oh, your
You
cookie
have to-
face thing?
you have to
Face
have a
thing.
cookie
That
on your
one-
nose and you have to get it into your
You
mouth.
can't do it.
No, that one
Does your
is
beard
really
get in the way?
hard.
I don't know what gets in the way, but I
Your
like
mustache.
the mustache. I guess I don't have any facial dexterity. I know.
Yeah.
But the chicken flicking.
The chicken
Yeah.
flicking is
Yeah.
really good too.
Chicken
It's just
flicking's
fun,
good.
man.
Oh,
So,
Crazy
you know,
Dog Kettle Corn is
So one
sponsors
of
the
the things
fucking
we've
chicken.
learned, so as with the mushroom company, we go and be vendors at other markets. So
Yeah.
in the summer, we're in Flagstaff. Flagstaff is an entirely different community than we are,
Yeah.
right? And then in the winter, we've been in Old Town Scottsdale.
Another
is
entirely
entirely-
different.
A lot of, just an entirely different type of community.
Yeah.
And then I think about us coming here, and like when we talk to people about it, it's like, it's really different. And what's
Yeah.
it like? And I said, think family.
Yeah.
Right? Think a really good time where families get together, groups of people get together, people are laughing, people will just start dancing to the music, right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of our vibe. It
Yeah.
really is. It's a unique vibe for
Yeah.
and it's a lovely, actually.
Well, I
Yeah.
think we could go on talking until like 11 o'clock
Oh,
about
easy
it, but it's
peasy.
past 10:30.
Oh,
Yeah.
we got it, yeah.
But we need to let people know Memorial Day weekend, that's
Uh-huh.
Saturday, and every Saturday after that
Yes.
into September,
Yes,
Middle of
middle of
September.
middle of September. And location again?
Sawmill Theater parking lot, and it's
Mm-hmm.
from 8 to 12, 8 to noon.
18
Every Saturday.
And
Yeah.
every Saturday.
So we're in front of the theater, and if you're coming from 87, we're right behind Chili's restaurant.
Yeah.
Very, very nice. And wow. So not this coming weekend, but the following weekend,
Yeah.
it is on.
It's on.
Yeah.
Payson Farmers Market. Well, thank you so much, John and Lorian.
Yeah,
Thank
thanks, Chris.
you.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, thank you everyone for
Uh-huh.
listening and watching. I know, again, a lot of people excited for the start of the Payson Farmers Market, and you don't have to wait much longer, my
Nope.
friends. And yep, the 28th. There we go.
There we go.
All right, well, let's get back to the music with some Black Crowes, Led Zeppelin, The Who, Van Halen, and more. But first, a quick update from the National Weather Service.
I thought we were here for an hour.
No,
When
that's
you
why I
pointed
kept
to the
pointing. I
phone,
kept
I'm like,
pointing
okay,
at
we're
my phone.
halfway.